So one of the questions I've been getting a lot is how is the release of DeepSeek R1 going to affect the cyber threat landscape? Now, to understand a bit about DeepSeek, they've actually released a bunch of different models. You have the DeepSeek R1 671B, which is the 671 billion parameter model. Now, that's the super powerful model that everyone's been ranting and raving about, but you also have some smaller models, which are what's called distilled models. And how that works is they take a model like Llama or QN, and then they train it on the full DeepSeek model. So you've actually got a completely different, smaller AI model that is being trained on a much more powerful, larger model. And what you get there is there's a bit of loss of reasoning ability and a bit of a loss of capability, but in place of that you get much higher performance and much less resource usage. So the distilled models are what people are talking about when they're saying they can run DeepSeek R1 on their laptop or their MacBook. Now, the actual full DeepSeek R1 model requires about a terabyte of RAM and a lot of GPU power, so it's not the kind of thing you can run on consumer grade hardware. Now, even if you do meet the minimum requirements, it's going to be very, very slow. So it's the kind of thing you want to have on like a massive GPU server with a lot of NVIDIA H100 GPUs, which is going to be very, very expensive. It's probably going to cost upwards of $100,000. So this isn't going to be something that's accessible to your average low-end threat actor or even the higher-end ones. What I would think is most likely going to happen with something like DeepSeek is we're going to see some of the low-end threat actors trying to use the distilled models. Now, these distilled models are usually a bit worse than the O1 Mini, so it's nothing revolutionary. It's no capabilities that they didn't already have access to. It's a little bit better than the other open source models, but we're not going to see script kiddies suddenly able to write like amazing pieces of malware. We might just see like a little bit of an improvement over anything that could be done with something like ChatGPT's free version. Now, the full model, I think, would appeal more to well-funded actors such as nation states. We have seen like a lot of nation states moving to ChatGPT for their disinformation bot networks, but one of the downsides to that is OpenAI's security team is doing a pretty good job of banning them, and also you can use prompt injection to reveal the bots, as you can see in some of these funny exchanges. So there may likely be some interest for some of the more well-funded disinformation networks to move to the full version of DeepSeek R1. And we could also see the same thing with spear phishing, because while some of these more sophisticated threat actors can write very convincing spear phishing emails, one person can pretty much only write one email at a time. If you want hundreds or thousands at once, then a very powerful AI model would be something that might actually be quite useful here. So what I think is most likely to happen is we're not going to see an increase in sophistication for unsophisticated actors, but we are going to see an increase in scale for sophisticated actors who don't need LLMs to substitute skill, but they do have a need for more scale.